Hi everyone, I'm Jay and today we are going to see the timing diagram for the microprocessor 8085. You can see that on the screen there is one microprocessor which is connected to the memory. To connect the microprocessor with the memory, we need some signals such as address bus, data bus and some control signals. You can see that two control signals, memory read and memory write, is connected to the memory from the microprocessor. Now what is timing diagram? If you remember, for the microprocessor 8085, there are different machine cycles such as memory read, memory write, IO read, IO write and opcode fetch. To perform one machine cycle, microprocessor has to perform different operation. So using the timing diagram, we are able to see what are the operation which is done by the microprocessor to perform one machine cycle. So simply in the timing diagram, we are going to see different signals using which we can clearly understand all the steps which is done by the microprocessor to perform one particular machine cycle. Today we are going to see the timing diagram for the opcode fetch machine cycle. So you can see on the screen, this is the timing diagram of the opcode fetch machine cycle. There are different signals such as clock, then A8 to A15, then there is a A0 to A7, ALE, IO/M bar and read bar. Let's see the first signal, that is clock. Now from where the clock is started, if at the same position it ends, it means one cycle is completed. And when one cycle is completed, it will be considered as one T state. Right? Now let's see the higher order address bus A8 to A15. Now you can see that in the memory location 2000H contains one opcode and microprocessor wants to read that opcode, microprocessor wants to fetch that opcode. To fetch the opcode, the first step which is done by the microprocessor is to put the address onto the address bus. Now if you remember, for the microprocessor 8085, the higher order bus A8 to A15, it is a dedicated address bus. But the lower order bus AD0 to AD7 is multiplexed. So AD0 to AD7 can be either work as D0 to D7, that is a data bus, or A0 to A7, that is address bus. And to convert AD0 to AD7 into address bus or data bus, we have to consider one signal, that is ALE, address/enable. So higher order bus is dedicated address bus, so processor will put the higher order address in the A to A15. So you can see that in the address bus, microprocessor has put the value 20. To put the lower order value in the lower order address bus, processor has to first convert the AD0 to AD7 into A0 to A7. And to convert AD0 to AD7 into A0 to A7, the microprocessor will use the address/enable signal. And when ALE is high, the lower order bus will be considered as address bus. So you can see that A0 to A7 is a lower order bus. Then microprocessor will put the lower value of the address, that is 00. So you can see that in the T1 state, the processor has put the value of the address 2000 in the address bus. Now when memory receives the 2000 value via the address bus, memory can understand that processor wants to select that particular address. So memory will select the address 2000H. Now the 2000H address is selected. After that, one particular address is selected, processor has two options. Either processor can read that address or processor can write to the address. In this case, the timing diagram is for opcode fetch. The processor wants to read the opcode. So to read the opcode, the processor has to generate control signal, which is memory read. Now let's see the next two T state, which is T2 and T3. Now you can see that in the memory the 2000H address is selected and processor wants to read that address. To read that address, processor has to generate the control signal, which is memory read. If you remember the generation of control signal topic, processor has not separate memory read or memory write control signal, but processor has different signals such as IO/M bar, read bar and write bar. So to generate memory read control signal, processor has to combine these different signals, and after combining, the processor will generate memory read control signal. So to generate memory read control signal, the processor will combine different signals such as IO/M bar and read bar. So when the value of IO/M bar is 0 and the read bar is low, it means the memory read control signal is generated. When the memory receives the memory read control signal, memory understands that microprocessor wants to read that particular selected memory location, which is 2000H. So memory will release whatever opcode is stored in the selected address, and it will send that opcode from itself to the microprocessor via data bus. So you can see that the opcode is received by the microprocessor. So in the T2 and T3 state, the microprocessor receives the opcode. It means the opcode fetch process is done. And the last state is T4. You can see that in the T4 state, there is nothing much. There is unspecified address bus and there is no more other signals. So why this state is needed? The T1, T2 and T3 state are enough for the opcode fetch. In the T1, T2 and T3 state, microprocessor has fetched the opcode. But by just fetching the opcode, microprocessor is not able to understand what is the meaning of that opcode. After fetching, the microprocessor has to decode that opcode. So to decode, processor will consume one more T state, which is T4. So in the T4 state, the processor will decode the opcode, and after decoding, it will understand that what that opcode is trying to say. And this is how the timing diagram of the opcode fetch machine cycle is done. And this is it for this session. If you still have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much.